Thank you so much, Devin. Yeah, just to reiterate what Devin has said as well. I mean, the investor education plan is by far one of the best tools that you can get on. It gives you constant updates about what's happening, and just introduces you to the power team, something that we were discussing in our breakout room. If you guys didn't have a chance to tune in, it's all about building that team. And it seems like there's a lot of individuals here from outside of Alberta, outside of Edmonton, and people looking to buy investment properties. And so one of the first things that people talk about is, how do you build your team? And so essentially what we do is we're the quarterbacks to help you do that. And we're going to jump into the Edmonton market update and talk a little bit about why Edmonton is one of the hot places that people are looking at. So I'm just going to share my screen here, and give me a little thumbs up, Devin, if you can see that screen. Awesome, perfect. Okay, thank you so much. All right, so a couple of things to take a look at. One of the big things, if you've been following the market at all, is all about inventory. And so we constantly have this conversation about what type of market is it? And so right now we've heard that conversation of it being a seller's market. Most often, the best market to be in is typically the market that you want to take advantage of. But most often people try to go for one of those balanced markets. But what we're seeing right now, if you take a look at the new listing, so this is Greater Edmonton area. So if you're ever curious about what markets fit inside the Greater Edmonton area, take a look at the bottom of the screen here. Gives you the areas of the surrounding areas of Edmonton that have that are basically pushed into this statistics here. So one of the big things that we're going to be looking at is new listings. So year over year, we have a 9% decrease of inventory for the month of January. Next, we're going to look at sales. So when we take a look at sales here, we have a year over year increase of 14.4%. So we have a decrease of inventory, but we have a massive increase in sales. We're obviously going to be pushed into a seller's market. So that's exactly what we're experiencing now. And we have seen firsthand what that is looking for a lot of our sellers. Next, we're going to talk a little bit about sale prices and what we're seeing in the market. So when we take a look at single family inventory and single family pricing, our averages are about 445,000. And the big one that I like to factor in is the year over year. So 4.3% increase year over year for average, and a 6.3% year over year for single family as well. So big things that we want to take a look at. Next, we take a look at average days on market. So this is a big indicator for us, how fast are properties being taken off the market once they get posted and once they're sold. So 51 for single family, it's one of the bigger markets that we typically look at. So 51 days this year compared to 59 of last year. Condos stayed very similar, 73 and 73. Big jump on the duplex row housing market as well. So also something that we discussed in the Edmonton chat around is that Edmonton is seeing a lot of push for density. And so people are allowed to put basement suites or secondary suites in duplexes and row housing. So that part of the market has really, really spiked, not only for investors, but also for people purchasing homes, because it's a little bit cheaper than what you'd find in the single family market. And then to wrap it all up into a nice little bow, all residential, we've dropped from 65 to 57. So I'm just going to scooch over into the MLS and give you kind of a real insight into what we're seeing on this side. So again, does everyone see the MLS or the Paragon screen? Beautiful, awesome. All right, so this is a property that Dream from our team ended up listing. So a couple of things to note here. List price of this property was $365. Dream was able to sell this property in 12 days at $396,000. So that was a $31,000 increase from what she listed it at. So obviously, most people are going to be like, well, is that kind of an outlier? This is something that we have seen quite a bit. Another one I want to bring up is, so we also talked about this in our breakout room. So this is one of the properties that Mike has. So he ended up listing this. He got it listed. It came out to the Mogul team, got connected. This is a $1.25 million side-by-side duplex, student rental. This thing grosses crazy rent. This thing's pending. I think condition waiver is tonight or tomorrow, and 9 days on market. So super, super fast. We're seeing this in pretty much all avenues of our market, from single family houses, investor type properties. So the big thing to know is this is a great time to be putting properties on the market. We would love to have a crystal ball to see what's going to happen in the next couple of months. But one of the big indicators is inventory is still low. So if you have a property that you want to get rid of, maybe one of those dogs in the portfolio that you're like, this has been a tough rental for me for the last couple of years, this would be a perfect opportunity to reach out to one of your moguls and chat about getting it listed. Right now, time is the biggest part. We want to get these things on the market as fast as possible because our market is changing on a week-to-week basis. So we don't want to wait until April or May when inventory is going to peak, and then we're going to be back into a balanced market. So that's your market update for Edmonton.